Well, hi, kids. I am so excited to see you again. As you can tell, we are continuing in our series on the roller coaster life, the ups and downs of life. And we are actually, it's hard to believe it, we are actually in our very last session about the roller coaster life. Have you ever been on a roller coaster that looked like that? They are super fun to be on. That's right. Today, we're going to be talking about how important it is to be faithful to God until the very end, not to give up when we have the highs and lows of life. And I'm going to have Elijah come one last time to say hi to you. He says, hi, good to see you. Good to see you, yes. And do you remember what we do with Elijah? He helps us tell the story. And so whenever you hear Elijah's name, you can stand up or you can, and then if you're standing up, the next time you hear it, you sit down. So Elijah, are you ready to help tell your story? Okay. Well, you may remember that Elijah has had an amazingly incredible life, very interesting life. It's been full of ups and downs, a true roller coaster life. Elijah knew that he wouldn't live forever and that he needed to have an assistant that could come and teach all that God had taught him. So God led Elijah to a man named Elisha. Now, I'm not saying Elijah, I'm saying Elisha. Elijah took his cloak and put it on the shoulders of Elisha. This was a sign to Elisha that Elijah was calling him to follow Elisha. Elisha immediately left his family and followed Elijah. For many years, Elijah taught Elisha what it meant to be faithful to God. Through good times and bad, Elijah was faithful. Elisha saw this and he learned about faithfulness too. One day, Elijah knew that his time on earth was coming to an end. So he tells Elisha to go ahead and leave him. He tells Elisha that he is free to go do his own thing. But Elisha looks at Elijah and plainly tells him, I will not leave you. After all this, Elijah asks Elisha, what can I do for you before the Lord takes me from you? Elisha answered, I want to receive a double portion of your spirit. That meant that Elijah was asking God to give him 2 times the amount of anointing and power that God had given to Elijah. Wow. Elijah was once one of the most powerful prophets of all time. And Elisha was asking God to make him twice as powerful. Elijah responded, you have asked a hard thing. But if you are with me when I am taken away, then God will do it for you. As they began walking a bit further, suddenly a chariot of fire appeared from heaven. It scooped up Elijah and carried him to heaven. On his way up to heaven, Elijah's cloak fell off of him and landed on the ground. Elisha picked up the cloak, walked over to the Jordan River nearby, and hit the water with Elijah's cloak. The young prophets from earlier were standing on the other side of the river watching this. Suddenly, when the cloak hit the water split down the middle. Elisha walked across on dry land. Isn't that amazing? Upon seeing this, the entire group of young prophets rushed to meet Elisha. They bowed before him and said, the spirit of Elijah is now resting on Elisha. The same guys who were telling him to leave Elijah and follow them, now they were following him. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Now, Elisha also went on to do amazing things for God. He was a prophet who had learned about what faithfulness meant to God. He practiced that faithfulness in his own life, and God rewarded him. And so today, we are going to be talking about that same type of faithfulness and how important it is to always remain faithful to God. Well, Elijah, that was a wonderful story. Yes, that was amazing to think about going up into heaven in a chariot of fire. Yeah. Kids, I'm going to give you a chance to say goodbye to Elijah. He's going to be going away. Bye-bye. He says he'll come over here. I want to talk to you a little bit more about our story today, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of information about our next set of lessons. We're going to be talking about something totally different than the roller coaster life. Well, we learned through our story that Elijah was faithful to God through the ups and downs of his life, and we know that he had a lot of ups and downs. He always remained faithful to God, and because of that, God rewarded his faithfulness. And that's true for us too. You know, we might go through all kinds of struggles. You might feel like you're struggling right now with school, or because you can't do everything you wanted to do because of COVID right now, or maybe there's somebody sick in your family. Be faithful, remain faithful to God, and sometime, at some point, you will have relief and you will realize that God is rewarding you. Now, we also learned in our lesson that Elijah taught Elisha to be faithful to the very end, to never give up on God. That's important for us to remember as well. Our power verse for today is from Philippians 3:14. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we very first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. So remain faithful to the end. In another part of Philippians, it says, run the race. Run the race. Sometimes it's going to feel like a marathon, isn't it? A very long race, but remain faithful to the very end. Okay, I mentioned earlier that I was going to tell you a little bit about our next curriculum that we're going to be studying. And the hint that I am going to give you, I'll give you two hints. The first one is that it's out of this world. Out of this world. What do you think it might be? And the second one I'm going to give you is that I chose this one because it has something to do with Halloween, kind of. Getting ready for Halloween. You might see this even on Halloween night. Out of this world and something Halloween. You're going to have to watch until next week to see what our new theme is going to be all about, and I think you're going to love it. I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.